In this tutorial, I will talk about the advanced feature from the custom panels. So first of all, if you remember from the previous tutorial, I have grabbed two brushes with colors. And when I grab brushes with colors, I also grab the papers. So if I make a right click on these brushes to edit them, we can see here a long list, including the tool. So it means the tool and the current parameters, like the size, the power, and the different connection, the color A and color B, and a command in George script. So just a little parenthesis about the George script. It's something very advanced, so I won't give any tutorial about it. Anyway, I'll show you briefly how what the script can do, but I talk about this later. Let's at the moment focus on the command TV paper active 0. So this command, I click on it to type the command, just means here the paper are not active. And if I go on the second brush where the paper is active, we can see the command is longer. So we can see information like the hardness value, if it has been inverted or not, the size value, the angle value, the offset X and Y, if we have flipped the X and Y axes, if it's active, and what is the name of this paper. So for example, if I want now to change the paper, so I know it's Siemens 0, and I don't want to use Siemens 0, but I would like to use another paper, like, for example, noisy _ 006. I will make edit. I will change the command, and I will change its name. Okay. And now I just have to refresh just by re-clicking on the brush, and I'm using the new paper. So with the scripts, we can do a lot of things. Here it's something very basic and easy to understand, but when we know how to manage the script, we can do some very amazing stuff. For example, here we have a George script panel that comes from the creation pack. It's a Python, it's an add-on sold on the TVPaint website. And for example, it will allow me to draw some fractal elements, or some arrows. Or a button or other stuff. So that's why there's no any tutorial about scripting, because the possibilities are very, very high, actually. So I will just give you some example of how the script was used. But I won't explain them because it's very much too long. It would necessarily a bunch of tutorials just to speak about the scripting. So let's now close the George script panel. I don't need it anymore. In a custom panel, you can grab something else than a brush. So by default, I'll just show you the grab current tool and grab current tool with colors. We can also grab just colors. It means the A and B colors. And we can also add actions. When I add an action, I will add a feature, a button that will allow me to do this or that functionality. For example, I could create a button that allows me to delete a layer. So let's create it. Delete layer. We use an icon like this one. I will click on this button, and I have a lot of choice here, and especially the choice to set a keystroke. Layer, and let's click on delete. Okay, I drew something, and if now I hit, I will first create several layers, and if I hit my button, now I will delete the layers. So a custom panel can have a lot of options. If you remember in the previous tutorial, I showed you could give a name to your brush. or actually to an action if you wish. And once you gave a name to a brush or an action or anything else, you have the possibility to assign this action or this brush to a shortcut. I have given a name to these two tools, and I will assign a shortcut. So I go into Edit, Shortcuts. I will type their name, Brush 1 Custom Panel. Okay, let's use G. And let's find Brush 2. And that's okay. And now I will hit G and H to switch between both brushes. So now just to show you an example of how complex a custom panel can be, let me introduce you the default custom panels available in TVPaint. They are all hidden on the right-hand side, drawer, just here. So in the tool presets, it's a custom panel with many different kinds of brushes. Actually, all of those brushes can be changed. They are defined by default, but you can change their configuration. You can change even their icons if you don't like the icon. Here, you remember I was talking about projection, and here it really makes sense, as you can see. And if you remember the wet profile, here we have our sand brush. And we can even add rainbows or clouds and many other stuff. So this tool process just contains custom brushes and even some two scripts here to grab your own brushes. But I would advise you to create your own custom panel. We also have another custom panel just here. This custom panel makes actually brushes and script. I will open a file to explain the way this feature works. Here we are. So here we have on the same layer, on the just a single image, we have a rough animation. We have a clean using black lines. We have red lines to mark the difference between clear zones and dark zones. And the same here with the green. And I have a tree. It's normal. It's because I'm still using the custom brush. Here we are. And so you've noticed all this drawing is made on a single layer. Anyway, thanks to the sketch panel RGB, I have the possibility to affect one or another color without affecting the other ones. The sketch panel is really handy since it emulates the traditional color erase pencils we use in traditional animation on paper. So you can use the blue line for the rough, the black for the clean, and red or green element for retakes or for giving the delimitation between dark zones and clear zones. You can even use here this little eye to display the black lines only during few seconds. And I will answer a question I am asked frequently. No, you can't change the colors. They are linked together, and if you try to change one of the colors, it will be quite messy. So sorry, but you have to draw with red, green, blue, and black. If you don't like the RGB sketch panel, you have other sketch panel available here in the custom panel menu, and you may use the sketch panel in blue, orange, black, and that's the other choice that you may have. And now another custom panel. This custom panel doesn't include any brush. This custom panel has only actions, and most of them are using script. For example, there is this one, managing instances. It means it allows me to create new instances by hitting this +1 button. And if I hit +1 button with Shift key, I will create new instances before. We also have here to delete a complete instance, which is really useful if, for example, you have a long instance like this. Hitting this button will automatically erase the complete instance. You also have the possibility to set different exposures, like this. You can even select several instances and set their exposure just in once, like this. You can also, for example, move an object with these arrows. It moves the element pixel by pixel. And if, for example, let's imagine I open a sequence. I will open this PSD sequence like this, load. And so it has imported my sequence, but it has created a bunch of layers and not a bunch of instances inside a single layer. So I may use this button to turn the sequence like this. And if I want the contrary, I can click on this button to have the other function. So I hope you understood the power of the custom panels.